They say everything is big in Texas, and Strikeforce is bringing you their biggest fighters in the heavyweight tournament from Dallas.
Let it fly now! Alistair Overeem!
It's Showtime is taking over Madrid, Spain for the first time.
Big knee to the head. That is good night, Leon.
This is Fight Network's preview show.
He's tapping! He's tapping! Fedor losing for the first time!
Hi, I'm Sarah Davis, and you're watching the Fight Network's preview show. Our MMA analyst John Ramdeen will be joining me shortly to break down the big fights going down this weekend. First up, it's another installment of Strikeforce featuring two major heavyweights at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. In a heavyweight bout for the Grand Prix quarterfinals, Alistair Overeem will clash with Fabricio Werdum. This is the second time these two have seen action against each other after Werdum was victorious over the Demolition Man back in a 2006 Pride matchup. Overeem is on a 9-fight winning streak since winning the inaugural heavyweight championship in 2007 over Paul Buentello, while Werdum, who's coached by Rafael Cordero, hasn't fought since last June when he became the only fighter to submit Fedor Emelianenko in MMA.
Overeem's just been a beast lately, but then yeah, Werdum tapping out Fedor. It's just an interesting matchup because I don't think he's really fought any grapplers against Werdum lately, so it's a really interesting style fight.
You know, Overeem's very talented, but I think Werdum is more, he's on a really good time right now, you know, and he knows the way to beat Overeem. You know, he did once and he's gonna do again. That's my prediction. You know, Overeem is very explosive. He can surprise, but it's like, I'll tell you, like 60-40 to Werdum.
I don't know, I think anybody fighting Overeem, it's a scary task. I think the guy's a monster, but if you can get the fight to go past the 2-minute mark, I'll go with Werdum.
Well, I think that's always been his weakness, is stopping takedowns, but he's physically filled out, obviously, a lot more. Everybody's noticed that over the past few years. So that's going to give him a lot of power to be able to do that maybe against Werdum. Once on the ground, I think no matter what, you're going to have problems with Werdum. He's amazing on the ground. But can Werdum withstand the punishment he's got to take to get in and get the takedown? I don't know.
The most intriguing matchup in the Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix will finally come to a head when jiu-jitsu sensation Fabricio Werdum takes on tournament favorite Alistair Overeem. It was nearly 1 year ago that Werdum entered what would be the biggest fight of his career when he took on the seemingly invincible heavyweight force known as Fedor Emelianenko.
Push kick by Arlovski.
Entering the bout as the underdog, the Brazilian stuck to the basic tools of his craft to pull off what is widely considered to be one of the biggest upsets in mixed martial arts history. After a prolonged absence from the cage, Werdum returns in the second leg of the Heavyweight Grand Prix to face yet another major challenge in Overeem. Having been awarded his black belt in Muay Thai under acclaimed coach Rafael Cordero, Werdum recognizes the threats that his opponent presents in the striking department, and as such, he will likely avoid trading leather with the 2010 K1 World Grand Prix champion.
The moment belongs to Alistair Overeem. The question indeed is who can stop the Reem in K1 and in mixed martial arts.
A black belt under Silvio Bering and now multiple-time Abu Dhabi champion, Werdum has continued to sharpen his jiu-jitsu for this bout, training alongside Anderson Silva. However, all fights start standing, and this is where the Dutch striker excels. Remaining undefeated in mixed martial arts competition since winning the Strikeforce heavyweight title back in 2007, the Demolition Man has built his reputation as an overwhelming pugilist who has defeated a number of challengers. He has been criticized for not facing top-tier heavyweights.
On the outside, Alistair controlling centering.
But if he can defeat Werdum on Saturday night, he will silence those critics. 2010 proved to be a successful year for the 31-year-old as he defended his Strikeforce title against Brett Rogers.
The Demolition Man demolishes Brett Rogers. Alistair Overeem with his 28th win inside the first round.
He earned the moniker of 2010 K1 World Grand Prix champion.
He wants to step in. I've seen him twice. Step in.
Good hand left hook from the Reem. Overeem just keeps coming forward like a juggernaut. Overeem unloading on him. Earns his rot. Earns his rot. Earns his rot. Alistair Overeem is the K1 Grand Prix champion.
And finally clutching the interim Dream Heavyweight Championship.
Back him up in a curling right. Gut-wrenching knee from the Reem. He tags him. It's over. Overeem is the Dream Interim champion. Hear me. Nobody can stop the Reem.
You're an incredible fighter. You're one of the best in the world. I was honored to fight you, and I've learned a lot tonight. Definitely. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Take care.
The Golden Glory product will aim to replicate last year's success, and an impressive win would be a great start for 2011. It's a classic clash that pits striker versus grappler, where one man will try to use his strength to deliver a punishing knockout,
Another short left hand, knee to the jaw.
while the other attempts to use his precision technique to debilitate a giant.
And he taps out just like that.
Though the journey to the finals is still a long and arduous road, the winner of this bout will become a heavy favorite and will carry a great deal of momentum into the semifinals.
Our MMA analyst, John Ramdeen. Thanks, John. Okay, these two met back in 2006. Fabricio Werdum tapped out Alistair Overeem. Now going into this fight, what is different besides Overeem's size? He's that much bigger.
It's the experience of Alistair Overeem. I mean, the fight starts standing, and we're talking about the best kickboxer in all of mixed martial arts. He's a big, powerful, muscular guy who's able to manhandle a lot of the fighters that he's faced. And unfortunately for Fabricio Werdum, he's going to have to start this fight standing.
And Werdum did just get his Muay Thai black belt from Rafael Cordero. Is he going to showcase his striking skills, or will he try and take this right to the ground and try and submit Overeem?
Well, you never know. There's a lot of ego involved in this sport, and the fight starts standing, like I mentioned, so he definitely will have to engage with Alistair Overeem. I talked to a lot of top trainers and fighters when I was in Vancouver, and they seem to believe that Fabricio Werdum is the man to take out Alistair Overeem. So anything is possible, but I think Werdum, obviously his best chance is to get this fight down to the ground, close that distance, tie up Alistair Overeem, use that big frame, and go for some sort of submission. Is that going to happen? I don't think so.
In the other heavyweight Grand Prix quarterfinal, former UFC heavyweight champion Josh Barnett will throw down with Brett Rogers. The baby-faced assassin enters the bout on a 6-fight winning streak with a record of 29-5. Rogers was undefeated until back-to-back knockouts from Fedor Emelianenko and Alistair Overeem, but is fresh off a win over Ruben Villarreal and carries a record of 11-2.
Yeah, I think Barnett will probably take that one. Barnett's one of the best heavyweights in the world. He's been inactive for a while, though, so we'll see what the ring rust is. But again, you know, Rogers, the guy, when he gets counted out, he's had some big knockouts when he was counted out. So,
what's Josh going to look like coming back? We haven't seen him for a long time. So, if it's the Josh of old, it's hard to go against him, right? He's most likely going to win that fight. But that remains to be seen, what kind of ring rust there's going to be for Josh and things like that. You know, doing pro wrestling, you're staying active, but let's be honest, it's not fighting.
Quarterfinal action continues in the Strikeforce Heavyweight Tournament Saturday night as former Pride star Josh Barnett draws Elite XC veteran Brett Rogers. This fight marks the return of the baby-faced assassin to North American soil after failing a steroid test prior to his bout with Fedor Emelianenko at Affliction Trilogy in 2009, which subsequently led to the organization closing its doors for good. Since then, the former UFC heavyweight champion has racked up 2 straight wins over Mighty Mo.
As we anticipated, it's over.
And Geronimo dos Santos.
Look at these right hands and
he will look to establish himself to the North American audience as a legitimate threat in the heavyweight tournament.
Brett the Grim Rogers. And down goes James Thompson.
Looking to spoil the party is heavy-handed juggernaut Brett Rogers. Hungry for a win, the Team Bison product is coming off a lackluster performance against Ruben Villarreal at Warrior 1 New Blood.
What? Oh, man, I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Despite going 1-3 in his last 4 fights, 2 of those losses were to former Pride heavyweight champion Fedor Emelianenko and current Strikeforce heavyweight champion Alistair Overeem. Despite being comfortable anywhere the fight goes, the submission wrestler Barnett will undoubtedly look to get this fight to the canvas rather than engage in a slugfest with the Grim, who loves to play the role of the spoiler. Barnett looks to impress in his Strikeforce debut, while Rogers hopes to re-establish himself as one of the heavyweight division's elite.
This is a classic striker versus grappler. Does Brett Rogers have the skills to avoid a ground and pound and takedown from Josh Barnett?
First, I want to give a shout out to Lorian and Blake in Vancouver at Tactics MMA for putting me through the ringer. But to answer your question, absolutely not. I think Josh Barnett is still one of the most talented fighters in the heavyweight division. I think that he'll be able to close the distance, tie up Brett Rogers, and take this fight down to the ground. We do know that Rogers has spent time at the Body Shop in California training with Antonio McKee, learning how to sprawl and brawl and learning how to wrestle. So if he can keep this fight standing, it could be a short night for the baby-faced assassin, but I don't think so. I think Barnett is too experienced, he's too explosive, and he's too dynamic, and I think he will get this fight down to the ground and lock up a submission.
In this heavyweight bout, we see two very different records as Daniel Cormier is undefeated with only 7 wins under his belt, while Jeff Monson has 42 victories and 11 losses on his record. However, Cormier has a strong foundation in wrestling, having won gold and bronze in the 2003 and 2007 Pan American Games, respectively. Monson comes from a strong grappling background and is on an 8-fight winning streak. Alistair's older brother, Valentine the Python Overeem, will take on Chad Griggs. This will be Valentine's sophomore appearance with the promotion after submitting Ray Sefo with a neck crank this past February to improve his record to 29-25. Griggs, also known as the Gravedigger, is on a 5-fight winning streak, all by way of knockout, with only 1 blemish on his record. Former Elite XC lightweight champion KJ Noons was on a 6-fight winning streak until George St. Pierre's next opponent, Nick Diaz, snapped it in a decision last October in a bout that went on to be named Strikeforce's Fight of the Year. Jorge Gamebred Masvidal is coming off a unanimous decision win over Billy Evangelista in his promotional debut in March. Of his 21 wins, 10 have been by TKO, while 10 others have gone the distance. This is a big opportunity for both fighters, as the winner will get a shot at lightweight champion Gilbert Melendez. Noons, he's coming off a loss to Nick Diaz, where Masvidal, a bit of a mediocre win. How important is this bout for each fighter?
I mean, it's a very important fight. The first thing I want to talk about is the loss to Nick Diaz. KJ Noons went up to 170 pounds, and it was not finished by Nick Diaz, who I consider one of the pound-for-pound best in the world. So we see that he's very, very durable, and that is going to be the question mark in this fight. Will Masvidal be able to take out KJ Noons? I don't think so. Noons really wants to get a crack at that lightweight title, and the way to do so is to have an emphatic performance against the American top team pupil. So I think we're going to see the absolute best KJ Noons that we've seen in quite some time.
After the break, we'll bring you the Strikeforce undercard bout featuring Jay-Z Cavalcante taking on Justin Wilcox.
I got to the point I just want to fight.
In a lightweight bout, Jay-Z Cavalcante battles former bodybuilder Justin the Silverback Wilcox. Jay-Z owns a record of 15-4-1 and made his Strikeforce debut last October when he lost by decision to Josh Thompson. Wilcox has won 10 of his last 11 fights for a record of 11-3, and most recently headlined a Strikeforce Challengers card in April, winning by doctor's stoppage over Rodrigo Dam.
The Strikeforce Challenger Series has proven to be a successful farm system for mixed martial arts. A number of talents have emerged from this brand, including Tim Kennedy, Shane Del Rosario, Tyrone Woodley, and now AKA product
Justin the Silverback Wilcox.
Displaying his skills on Strikeforce undercards, Wilcox has managed to earn victories over solid opposition. The 5'6" lightweight is a juggernaut in the cage that relies on his NCAA Division I wrestling experience to outmuscle his opponents with relative ease.
25 seconds, there's the takedown and a side control.
A longtime training partner of UFC welterweight Josh Koscheck, Wilcox enters the cage with the same confidence, determination, and conditioning that American Kickboxing Academy fighters are known for, constantly pushing the pace and forcing his game onto his opponents.
Man, this kid is getting after it, keeping the pressure on, and just that punishing style of fighting from AKA.
The former bodybuilder has looked impressive in recent bouts, earning a one-sided decision win over Dream veteran Vitor Ribeiro.
Ribeiro is not going to hurt him.
Flying knee by Wilcox. Wilcox reading it perfectly, and the sprawl again.
He has further showcased the rest of the tricks in his arsenal with a damaging TKO victory over Rodrigo Dam.
Another right hand, straight right hand, down goes Dom. A series of right hands now, ground and pound by the Silverback.
The time to step up in competition has come, as the most difficult challenge of the bulky wrestler's career lies straight ahead of him in the form of a well-rounded former K1 Heroes middleweight Grand Prix champion. Coming into Strikeforce after building his career abroad, Cavalcante's promotional debut was a stern test, but the Brazilian managed to impress.
Well, you know, it's hard to say.
Tag Thompson with the right hand. Thompson immediately goes.
This is his big move. This is Jay-Z's big move, the guillotine. He's finished a lot of people, a lot of submissions.
Looking for the shoot. Cavalcante tags Thompson now on his back, dropping those big left hands.
You know what? I think Jay-Z stole that third round right there.
Despite a controversial finish,
Josh Thompson!
Jay-Z proved his worth to a new audience.
There's no way I won that fight 30-27, so I'd love to give him a hand. Okay, because the judges right now need to figure out a clinic and learn how to judge these fights.
In March of 2011, the longtime ATT pupil left the Coconut Creek, Florida camp and ventured into a new dwelling called Imperial Athletics with George Santiago, the Villafort brothers, Antonio Silva, and former UFC light heavyweight champion Rashad Evans. With the new adjustments to his training, Cavalcante looks to make a statement with his next performance, and he is motivated to replicate his earlier success in Japan under the Strikeforce banner. A solid jiu-jitsu base, lethal ground and pound, and competent striking sum up the Brazilian's skills. The well-rounded veteran's fast hands and sharp boxing have continued to improve with the aid of Gago Drago and Badr Hari, and he will have to utilize his technique to trump Wilcox's strength. The Silverback enters the preliminary landscape once more. A win over a formidable opponent such as Cavalcante would likely earn Wilcox a long-awaited main card slot. However, if it's Jay-Z's night, a barrage of strikes could be headed Wilcox's way.
Jay-Z, a well-rounded fighter, whereas Wilcox's strength comes in wrestling. What makes this an interesting fight?
I absolutely love this fight. You said it. Wilcox is the wrestler. It's the most dominant base in all of mixed martial arts. He wants to get this fight down to the ground as quickly as possible. And if I'm Jay-Z's trainer, that means you're working off of your back, trying to use submissions from your back or sweeps to try to get back to the upright position to try to go for the knockout. But will he be able to do that? Wrestling is so strong right now. I think Wilcox will be able to take this fight down to the ground and grind out a 3-round decision. It's not going to be the most entertaining fight, unfortunately, but it's very important for the lightweight division.
Stick around after the break as we highlight all the action going down at It's Showtime and bring you more from the Strikeforce Heavyweight Tournament.
Maybe I have a big surprise.
Across to Europe in Madrid, Spain, It's Showtime will put on the biggest kickboxing event that Spain has ever seen. Elite heavyweight fighter Tyrone King of the Ring Spong will throw down along with crowd favorite Drago.
European kickboxing giants present another evening of action as It's Showtime comes to you for the first time from the Palacio de Deportes in Madrid, Spain. In an under 73 kilo bout, local talent Abraham Roqueni prepares to take on K1 veteran Gago Drago. Roqueni holds the prestige of handing Andy Sauer his last loss earlier this year and is set on derailing another well-known player in Drago. The Armenian has dropped his last 3 fights by way of decision and will look to get back to his winning ways and re-establish a reputable win streak. It's Showtime's 85 Max World Champion Sahak Parparian moves up in weight to take on Spaniard Moises Rubal in an under 95 kilogram tilt. The 22-year-old Armenian is coming off the momentum of capturing the vacant 85 kilogram title with a spirited decision win over Amir Zayada.
Mr. Sahak Parparian!
Well, there you go, to be honest. Oh, what a great performance.
The Alkmaar gym pupil looks to make it 2 in a row under the It's Showtime banner. The big guns head to the ring in a heavyweight encounter when K1 veteran and Team Mr. Perfect member Tyrone Spong takes on Spanish striker Lauren Javier Jorge. Spong was the promotion's first 95 Max champion and is looking to reach the top of the totem pole once again. The Surinamese heavyweight possesses lethal knee strikes and is coming off an impressive win after adjusting Igor Mahavlich's jaw by way of left knee knockout.
Big knee to the head. That is good night, Leon.
At the age of 25, Spong has gained a wealth of in-ring experience by facing a number of highly ranked opponents and held his own, as was the case in his bout with Alistair Overeem. The experienced and motivated Spong looks for his second highlight reel win on Saturday night. In the main event, Spain's own Javier Hernandez has an opportunity to clutch the title when he faces current It's Showtime 61 kilogram champion Karim Benoui. The Frenchman Benoui is coming off back-to-back decision wins and will attempt to extend his streak to 3 in a row. The 23-year-old combines his slick technique with constant pressure. The young champion will have to keep his composure and maintain his focus as he enters hostile territory for his second title defense. Catch all the action live on Saturday, June the 18th, only on Fight Network.
Bringing you back to the Strikeforce Heavyweight Tournament, our big man Jon Ramdien caught up with two of the biggest contenders of the tournament to find out their thoughts on their upcoming bouts.
I'm happy to be joined by tournament participant Fabricio Werdum. Fabricio, thank you for joining us. A big tournament ahead of you. You're taking on Alistair Overeem in the first round of the tournament. How excited are you?
Yeah, I'm excited because I like the idea. Scott Coker is the boss. He have a good idea. Say thank you, Scott, for the invitation to the tournament. I'm so happy. I'm adjusting my focus now just to the training because I'm fighting my first fight with Overeem. I'm excited for the tournament. I'm try the one the tournament. Maybe my strategy is everybody know in the ground. My special in the ground. I got the black belt in Muay Thai, but maybe no. I like to show you for everybody my stand-up, but maybe it's not this time is good because Overeem is special in stand-up. Is the champion, the K1 champion. But maybe next time, but maybe I have a big surprise. Maybe I'm just faking the ground. Maybe after I'm trying to stand up, maybe knockout. I don't know.
I'm happy to be joined by Brett Rogers, who takes on Josh Barnett in the second bracket of the Strikeforce Heavyweight Tournament. Brett, talk about your opponent, Josh Barnett. What worries you most about him?
Well, Josh Barnett, you know, he's a well-known fighter. He's been in the game for a long time. I've watched his fights, so I mean, it's not going to be a surprise that he's going to want to be a catch wrestler because that's pretty much what he is. He, you know, definitely has a ground game. So I'm just going to look for that and try to stop anytime he wants to take me down. The way I see it, you know, entering this tournament, you know, I'm entering it backwards. You know what I mean? It's supposed to get harder as time, right? So I mean, Barnett, he can be tough. But as long as I stay a couple steps ahead of him, he's just another person. He's just another fighter.
Remember, you can always hit us up on Twitter. Our handle is @FightNet, and visit our website, fightnetwork.com, for more fight news. On behalf of the Fight Network crew, I'd like to thank the Ballroom for letting us use their space, and thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Here comes the Hercules. Here comes the power. And Duffy tries to back him up with a curling right. Gut-matching knee from the ring. He taps him. It's over. Good night, Overeem. Overeem is the dreaming true champion in a heartbeat.
This segment on the Fight Network is brought to you by The Ballroom, downtown Toronto's newest interactive entertainment center.